What capital are you trading with now?
So right now I'm trading with around 1.25 crore.
1.25 crores.
And that's because I've diversified outside of trading. Now that I'm a full-time trader, I also need to focus on regular income to cater to regular expenses.
So if you tell, if you listen to my strategies, like it's so bad, right? So we used to just go full capital, sell 2 rupee option. Like, just 2 rupee option, 1.5 2 rupee option, keep double the stop loss. Both sell call put. 80% of the time, without hitting the double stop loss, both used to go down to 0. Okay? Another time, one used to hit stop loss, that day you used to end with 0.
Break even.
Break even. Maybe sometimes, some very rare cases, both would hit the stop loss. And so, believe it or not, just by doing this, we were generating almost close to around 3% weekly. Right.
Like, this is like, okay, I've heard people raising fund from their friends, families, or even like a third party, but here you're raising fund from your own professor. Like, how did it pan out?
When I design a system, I design it in such a way that it needs to last for all seasons. It can't be like morning I wear a lungi, afternoon I change my dress. You can't do that in market. It's called system hopping, and it's not going to give you good results.
Trading is hard and full-time trading, let's be realistic, it's not everyone's cup of tea. But आज के ज़माने में इंडिया में सबको अपने जॉब छोड़ के फुल टाइम ट्रेडर बनना है. अगर आप भी अपना जॉब छोड़ के फुल टाइम ट्रेडर बनना चाह रहे हैं, तो डोंट मिस दिस एपिसोड ऑफ ब्रेकफास्ट विद ट्रेडर्स, बिकॉज इस एपिसोड में हम बात करने वाले हैं एक ऐसे ट्रेडर के साथ जो अपने वेल पेइंग जॉब को अभी क्विट किए हैं. तो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट ऑल द कैलकुलेशंस दैट वेंट ऑन इन हिज माइंड एंड ऑल द फैक्टर्स दैट ही कंसीडर्ड before taking up full-time trading. What's up everyone, Praful here and welcome back to yet another episode of Breakfast with Traders by Groww. Oh, by the way, did I forget? इस episode में हमारे साथ एक नहीं 2 guests हैं. Along with Aamodh, who just turned into full-time trading by quitting his well-paying job, we have another friend of mine who has been into trading for a really long time. आप शायद सब उनको जानते होंगे. He is none other than Saketh. He is one of the most entrepreneurial traders that I personally know. वो ट्रेडिंग के साथ साथ बहुत सारे ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स बिल्ड किया है, बहुत सारे सर्विसेज बिल्ड किया है, एंड नाउ यहाँ पे ना एक कॉन्ट्रास्ट निकल के आता है. आमोद इज ऑन अ पाथ वेयर ही क्विट हिज वेल पेइंग जॉब एंड नाउ हिज only source of income is trading. But on the other hand, Saketh, along with his trading income, is now diversifying into other sources of income as well through his business ventures. तो इस conversation बहुत मजा आने वाला है because I want to bring out the dichotomy of taking up trading as a full-time profession versus venturing into allied businesses within the realm of trading. So let's go get them. So, Saketh and Aamodh, thanks a lot guys for doing this.
My pleasure, man.
Because I want to reiterate why we are doing this series. Because we want to give the most realistic, the brutally honest picture about trading. Well, you're some of the very few profitable set of folks that I know. And especially Aamodh, I know you from 2021. Okay?
Yeah.
And you have been profitable, you have scaled up your capital, and now you have decided to quit your job, like a well-paying job, and to take up full-time trading. Now, the reason why I wanted to have a conversation with you is I wanted to ask you at this point of time what all calculations went in your mind to take up trading full-time, because even I quit my job. But उस point of time पे the dynamics were different, and now the dynamics are different.
Yes.
है ना? तो पहले leverage था, पहले option selling was relatively easy. मतलब ऐसे भी नहीं बोलता कि भाई piece of cake था, but it was relatively easy. Now the markets have kind of evolved. It have become like a lot more difficult. The regulatory changes here in all these, in amidst all this chaos, like what all the things that went, you know, behind all that decision making. And Saketh, तुम तो बहुत पहले से trade कर रहे हो, and you've been doing this for a long time now. And the contrast between your trajectory and his trajectory is this guy, Aamodh, he's giving up one of his sources of income and he wants to make trading his full-time career.
Right.
But you, on the other hand, you have been venturing out into other verticals of trading. Like you're building a lot of these product-based companies, you're
Right.
building service-based companies, like you're into education,
Right.
you're into content creation and all that. Now you're diversifying your income, where he's kind of like
Narrowing.
You know,
yeah.
Concentrating.
concentrating his
Concentrating, yeah.
income. I want to understand like the thought processes, okay? Because even I have a different approach towards trading.
Right.
Like how my sources of income must be diversified. मेरे कौन सा पैसा कितना कितना इधर किधर आना चाहिए मेरे को, how much, what's the end goal of all this. But I want to understand from your guys, your perspective,
Right.
like what's your end goal, what's your end goal,
Yes.
and what are your priorities in life.
Right.
ये सारे चीजों को हम बात करने वाला है, तो we'll
Yes.
talk about that. And I want you to like tell the viewers that what it takes and
Yes.
how much of, because I understand that like it takes a lot of hard decisions
Yes.
to make that transition.
True.
And especially when you just got married, Aamodh.
Yes.
Now you have a dependent.
Yes.
Now you're a responsible person, like you're not a bachelor anymore. So as a scenario, mein, like what are
Right.
the thought process? So that's what even the viewers want to know, because you know that, right? Like trading is in the trend. Everybody wants to be a full-time trader.
Yes.
Everybody wants to
Absolutely.
quit, and
It looks attractive.
it looks
On the outside.
attractive, and most of them get sold on by these dream sellers
Yes.
on social media.
True.
ठीक है, तो एक realistic picture देना बहुत जरूरी होता है. It's very important for us to give a realistic picture, and who's better than somebody who's walking the talk? Huh? So that's the core agenda for today's discussion. So Aamodh, you quit your job like what, 2 months back now
Yeah, it's 2 months now as a full-time trader.
as a full-time trader.
Yeah.
How long it's been since you're a profitable trader?
So I've been a profitable trader since June 2020. That's when I started to become a automated systematic intraday options trader. So it took me like 30 months to get profitable.
30 months.
Yes.
So for the first 30 months you were not profitable.
No, not profitable. As in, I was profitable few months, but net on net, I was at a loss of around 3.5 lakh.
Okay. So now, you know, you were in a very good company.
Yeah.
You were making a decent sum of money. Like you had that safety net, like a monthly salary, that certainty. You had a certainty in life. Now you're trading full time, which is pretty risky. I mean, it has its ups, but sure as hell it has its downs.
Yes.
So in order to make trading as a full-time career, you need to be making at least this much times the money that you're making from the salary. So I want to understand from, you know, the mathematical perspective, ki how much you were drawing the salary when you were in the company versus like how much on an average you make using your trading.
Yeah. So on an average, when I was in a full-time job at the time of leaving, I was on a payroll of around 60 lakh per annum.
60 lakh per annum.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good salary.
Yeah, that's right. So generally, the thing that I hear people say is that once your trading income is more than X times your salary income, you need to quit your job. But when your salary base itself is pretty high, that's a pretty high standard to begin with, right? And my trading income, on an average, I'd like to take annual thing. It's in 8-digit revenue-wise.
Early crores.
Yes.
So, what capital are you trading with now?
So right now I'm trading with around 1.25 crore.
1.25 crores.
And that's because I've diversified outside of trading. Now that I'm a full-time trader, I also need to focus on regular income to cater to regular expenses.
This point I want to touch upon later because I followed your journey. We have been talking for some time now. I know like how you scaled up, like how you fueled your salary into your trading account. You constantly infused capital, you built on that and all that. But now when you want to do it full time, you have taken a chunk of your capital and you have kept it as a nest egg. And now you're trading, your working capital is slightly smaller compared to what you were trading before.
Yes.
Now you're trading with 1.25 CR.
Yes.
And what are your average returns, monthly returns?
So over the last 14 months, which is when I started trading my new system, which is designed for the everyday zero DT regime, the average monthly return has been around 6.5%.
Around 6.5%. And before that?
Before that, it was around 4%. Because zero DT expiry day is my strength. And when you have everyday zero DT, it obviously is going to increase your return potential.
Are you kind of scared with the SEBI's consultation paper that zero DTs might get reduced? They might be looking at scrapping off some of the baby indices like midcap or BankX and FinNifty.
Yeah.
So how bad are you going to get affected?
I will get affected, that's obvious, but there are two parts to becoming a full-time trader. One, it's about how much capital do you have? Can it generate the income to sustain your lifestyle? And the second part is how confident are you as a trader as far as your skill set is concerned. Regulatory changes will keep coming in. Yesterday it came, today it's coming, tomorrow also it will keep coming. If you want to become a full-time trader, you need to have confidence on your ability as a trader, how well you can adapt to regulatory changes, price action regime shifts, right? So because I have done it in the past, see, intraday leverage was removed in September 2021. That created a different kind of price action regime in my view. And then everyday zero DT started. That changed the price action regime again. Now, if again some of the zero DT indices are taken off, then that again is going to induce a new price action regime, which will be a challenge. But then the past track record is where I derive my strength from. So from that point of view, I'm not scared, but then it does reduce the return potential.
So this is what I like, okay? Because you didn't say that, oh, mere systems were designed around zero DTs and now the returns have gone up 6.57%, whatever it is. So now I can quit the job. No, like you're deriving it both from a tangible component, a tangible parameter, as well as an intangible parameter, which is your own adaptability to the markets.
Yes, and the other aspect to becoming a full-time trader, relying on trading income, at least to some extent, is that, see, for the edge of a strategy to play out, it takes n number of trades, right?
It's a law of large numbers.
Yeah, law of large numbers. Let's say it takes around 200 trades, let's say. If you are an intraday trader, those 200 trades might get generated within a month.
Yeah, true.
If you're a positional trader, maybe annually 30 trades, 20 trades, right? So for the edge of a positional system to play out, it will take years. Whereas for an intraday system to pan out, it's going to take only a few months, maybe.
The feedback loop is faster.
Yeah, feedback loop is faster. So you got more chances of becoming a full-time trader if you're an intraday trader, in my opinion. Because your edge plays out and it generates income, which can cater to some expenses which are regular.
Now, you're one of the most methodical, one of the most meticulous system traders that I've known. Okay, I'll come back to your meticulousness. I'll come back to like how you build your systems, like what is your approach in building your algorithmic systems, automated systems. Before that, I want to go back to Saketh. Saketh, feeling left out?
Not really. Listening to his journey, yeah.
इसलिए breakfast पूरा खत्म कर दिया. So, no, there's a contrast between you two guys. He had multiple sources of income. He went from having two sources of income to saying that no, I don't want this. I'll focus on a concentrated source of income because his priority in life is different. On the other hand, I've been with you. I've been watching your journey for some time now. You are such an entrepreneur by heart. Entrepreneur at heart. You keep on venturing some or the other forms of businesses. Around trading itself, I've seen you like, you venture out into like some products, you venture out into services, you are into content creation, you are into, you're into so many things. Correct? Now, what are, how do you see yourself? Because is this like venturing into different businesses, different verticals? It's only from having different sources of income perspective, or it's because you truly love it or you really want to solve the problems that are pertaining to this particular niche?
So basically, Praful, it's like from the very beginning, like I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So, and stock market is the place where I wanted to be. So when I started trading, which is quite long back, right? So for us, it was quite lucky because we had leverage, everything what we wanted to have at that point to scale up. So after scaling up, there came a time in 21-22 where we wanted to do different things. Like we knew that, okay, like so many things can be done around this area. which I really wanted to do. And then I was like, okay, focus only on trading because it's going well. So then there was a extended period of drawdown, right? So, and we didn't have any other source. I think I have also made a couple of videos on it. So we didn't have any course income, no other income, right? So we had an extended period of drawdown where we had to actually pay some interest, XYZ stuff, right? So where the burden actually started, that's when maybe in the journey of almost close to around 4.5 years of profitable trading, right? So that's the first time you actually felt the pinch, where there is no cash flow coming in, but the money is just flowing out, where you have to liquidate some investments. And so this was maybe, I think, end of 2021, if I'm not wrong. So that's when we realized it's high time we actually, with the resource we have, with the maybe what we can do. So one is definitely the time. So if you're trading, so post 3:30, generally you would have some free time with you. And also the thing is, you're still young, so there is still time to take risk, right? So there is nothing that you have to stabilize something and go around. So one thing which we were clear on certainly not doing is sell option trading courses. So we just like continue to do some free videos, right? So what next? So that's when we saw, okay, stock market coming out with this thing, like many platforms coming out with backtesting, but nobody really had automation, right? And now I have zero tech background, right? So I don't know to write a single line of code, but I have an enthusiasm to build a product around tech. So how do I start it? Actually, the journey was quite bad, actually, at least for the first 2 years. Like, so we outsourced the product to develop, like we gave it the development to somebody else. So they started developing. The code was completely flawed, because they didn't have idea about markets. We didn't have idea about tech. So now who will validate what is correct?
This is something I've noticed. Okay,
Yeah.
Usually, you build in public, correct? You're still building in public, and generally, people who have a certain public aura to maintain, they generally act all godly. They are like, oh, I know about the markets. I never make losses. Like, I'm always profitable. They try to portray a particular image onto the public, so that उनका image से ही मतलब वो business चलता है. But you are one of the very few guys on public domains who puts out your vulnerable side as well. As much as you talk about your profits, you talk about your losses as well. And that, I feel, has built a bit of trust.
True.
And is this like your personality trait, or is this a strategy?
So actually, to be honest, this is something which, okay, like whenever you do anything, the first thing you want to be is ethical, right? So more as honest as possible. But for us, being honest has actually paid off really well. So for example, when we started earlier, right? So the thing is, there are two ways to go about it. When we were raising funds in thousands, right? So like,
tell me about that,
Yeah.
because वो story मुझे भी पता है. Some of the viewers also know about this.
Right.
You raised a fund from your college professor.
Right.
Like, this is like, okay, I've heard people raising fund from their friends, families, or even like a
Right.
third party, but here you're raising fund from your own professor. Like, how did it pan out?
So actually, the thing is, so he was teaching us corporate law or something, and then like just like that in the class, he was discussing about stock market, and I raised my hands. I'm interested in stock market. I was back then writing blogs, right, on stock market, right. So the thing is, then I showed him his blog, everything. Then I also told that I usually like trade and all of that. So by that time, I was slightly profitable, right.
Slightly profitable.
When I say slightly profitable, just started to become profitable, right? So when I started from 13 till 17, there was not a single quarter where I closed the quarter with green. So it was almost 4.5 years of learning, where every single quarter it was a red, right? So 2017 was the time when I actually came into option selling, and that was also the time when Bank Nifty weekly options were introduced, right? So the thing is, again, like nobody starts with a big sum of capital, right? So when we raised initially, right, so it was from friends itself, right? So not from outsiders, it was from within a close group of friends itself, so around 25-30,000, right? And the leverage part is amazing, because into 30x will make it like 9 lakh, right? 30,000 into 30x, right? So not long after, so the word just started to spread among like class teacher, everybody, and they were like, okay, if so you are so enthusiastic, you are so passionate about doing things, right? So okay, I will also give 20,000. So this way, small capital. Then like my cousin, they gave me around 50,000. My sister gave 50. So this way, it just. So it is not a, what I would say, it's not a big sum of amount for one person to maybe give, or if somebody is wanting to try out something. But if you actually look at it, when it comes as a bulk, it actually becomes a big sum, right? So maybe this is how we raise maybe 3-4 lakh, and that itself is a big.
At that point of time, it was an okayish amount to start.
Yeah, because 30x leverage, you're
30x leverage,
you're
yeah.
talking about 1.2 crores in today's sum.
You could sell a startup with just
1.5
20k
thousand.
capital.
20,
No,
not
1,500.
20,000.
1,500.
1,500 rupees.
Yeah, 1,500 rupees. So it was that low. Like you go hedge. So our strategy was simple. Like if you listen to my strategies, like it's so bad, right? So we used to just go full capital, sell 2 rupee option, right? Just 2 rupee option, 1.5 2 rupee option. Keep double the stop loss. Both sell call put. 80% of the times, without hitting the double stop loss, both used to go down to zero, right? Another time, one used to hit stop loss. That day, you used to end with zero.
Break even.
Break even. Maybe sometime, some very rare cases, both would hit the stop loss. And so, believe it or not, just by doing this, we were generating almost close to around 3% weekly. 3% weekly.
Now, it's not even possible
Not even
because the dynamics has changed.
Right.
Like more people are aware
Right.
of option selling. There will be like so many things. The dynamics has changed, but that is also a time where the early mover
True.
advantage is there, because not many of the folks in the country are doing that. So there is always that early edge
Right.
Yes.
that you could capitalize on.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to do the same thing now,
Yeah, maybe.
He'll burn his hands.
True.
Yeah.
And if you come with a capital of 25k, I don't think it's even possible to.
forget about 25k,
Yeah.
even 5, 6, 7
Yeah,
lakhs
yeah.
is also, I don't think it's enough
Yeah.
if one wants to take up full-time trading.
So actually, the journey from there is just about honesty. So the thing is, what I used to present to them was what exactly was there happening in the account. So I never really to raise more funds. I never really tried to portray something which we weren't doing really, or trying to promise them any extra returns. So that has paid off really well, because whatever growth we have seen is just built around honesty, right? So every single thing what we have told. So again, the thing is, recently I posted about a loss where I had a 35 lakh loss with futures, right? So last year futures was the one which actually gave me some fantastic returns. So I tried doing the same thing, it didn't work out, and I went to a loss, right? And this year option trading also, I am at a drawdown of 2.5%, right? So it was around 6% because we got hit very badly with the Nifty fall
Nifty
which came on
expiry.
18th of April. And then we had sized down our capital quite a lot, sized down our positions quite a lot, and slowly started to pick up. And now we are almost back to normal. And so the thing is, if I'm openly talking about it, it means just that for me, it's not about the returns or money, which is actually defining the trader's success, right? So whether I make 50%, 100%, or somebody is making 200%, that's not the definition of success to me, right? So it's about maybe building something like, okay, maybe if you see Tata and Ambani, both are equally successful, but whom do I value more? It might be Tata because of the ethics around which the business is.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah, we'll discuss all that
Yeah.
later. But I want to move on to Aamodh now. Aamodh, as I mentioned, you are one of the most meticulous people, especially when it came to data crunching and analysis and how you look at, because at one point you were actually dividing the day into 4 different time zones, and you were saying, okay,
Yeah.
first 1 hour mein aise pattern hota hai, so now I want to optimize my strat for this, then I want to start for this. So basically you did a bunch of strategies, correct? Now also I assume that you must be running a basket of strategies. Now tell me, how many strategies do you have in your basket?
So as on today, I run around 38 strategies in a day, a maximum of 38.
So 38 strategies.
Yes.
Everything is automated?
Yes, everything is automated. 38 strategies. It is diversified across intraday as well as BTST. It is diversified across different strikes. It is diversified across different indices. I'm as on today, option selling side intraday, I only do 0DT, but I do have hedging systems which I deploy in all indices. So the key thing is survival, and hedging is what is going to ensure you survive, right?
You talked about survival, like you used the word couple of times. Now, what is your worst case scenario?
So worst case scenario, if let's say I'm all in only for like
The peak
1
what?
hour. Yeah,
I'm talking about the peak value at risk.
yeah, it's around 20% of my capital, total trading capital, and way less than 20% of my net worth.
Two things here. Like you talked about 20% of your capital, which translates to less than 10% of your net worth, because
Yes.
like half of your net worth you have kind of, taken away. This I've talked about in other episodes as well, where, you should not be like trading with 100% of your net worth.
Yes.
Forget about 100% of the net worth. People though take loans and trade here.
Yeah.
So when your risk is more than what you could handle, that is where like disasters happen.
Yes.
Couple
that's
it with
true.
leverage, it's a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Now, this is something I want to understand. Generally, क्या होता है? Once people want to become full-time traders, they want to amass a particular amount of capital and they calculate the return on that particular capital. So, let's say when you're making 6% per month on an average on, let's say, 2 CR, which is your net worth, assume. Now you're thinking, okay, I'm making around 10 to 12 lakhs per month, 10 lakhs per month, and I'm quite comfortable. Now, going from 10 lakhs, now you're kind of downgrading yourself to 5 lakhs,
Yes.
but you are also making sure that you have that peace of mind by keeping away that 1 CR.
Yes.
Now, why don't you deploy that entire thing? Because your worst case is 20%. It's not like
Yes.
you're going to blow up.
Yes.
Why not keep that same capital and then trade?
So the thing is, when you're a full-time trader, your income from trading may not be regular, but your monthly expenses are regular.
Yeah.
Right. So it should not happen like you depend on trading income for your next day's breakfast. Right. So if that happens, then all you can lose from the market is not just money. You can also lose your peace of mind. You can lose your livelihood. Now, if I put all my net worth into the trading business, and trading business has a lot of risk. See, I'll tell you a very outlier scenario. It may not happen in your lifetime. It may not happen at all. Right. So let's say you kept a stop loss at a certain point, and now we have this LPP, limit price protection, which means that your exit may not happen at your stop loss level. Let's say a 5% spot movement happens in 1 minute, let's say. Then price is going to zoom way high, and because of high retail participation in the market, nowadays we see stop loss cascading. You get a spike which from your stop loss level, the price moves like 1,000-2,000% away.
Yeah.
Now, even if I have my value at risk capped because of my hedges, if the hedge price does not increase, because this is just a stop loss cascading price which is getting zoomed up only on the sold strike, your net MTM can go way negative beyond your what you
Wow.
have in your account. Right? You don't want to get into a situation where all you have with you is only in the trading account and lose it all. Right? So that's one thought process which makes me diversify.
But when you had a job and when you had that steady income, you were going all in. You were even like putting that salary, you were infusing that salary into your trading account, and you're trying to aggressively compound the capital.
Yes.
So now, can I assume like if you are trading with 1.25 CR, can I assume the same amount of money like that you have as nest egg?
Yes, outside of trading capital diversified.
Yeah.
Yes, I have way more than that outside of my trading account.
Why exactly 50-50? Why not 30-70? Why not 70-30?
There is no real reason why I selected 50-50, to be honest. It's about catering to my monthly expenses.
Okay.
Whatever I have outside of my trading account today, let's say I keep,
Where is that parked?
it's mainly in fixed deposits.
So
That's
basically,
the safest instrument. So the goal of that particular amount of money is safety. And I feel there's no better safety instrument today than fixed deposit, diversify across 5 banks and post office. That's a safe return source. The goal is safety there. in the market, the goal is creating generational wealth by compounding.
Now, this is something that I need to understand, okay? You quit your job because you started becoming profitable, you reached that particular number, like now you, diversified a part of your net worth into something which is there always for you. But at the same time, I still don't understand, you're not a discretionary trader. You're a system-based trader. From 9 to 3:30, you have nothing to do because everything is automated.
Yeah.
Still, why quit the job?
Yeah, sometimes I actually sleep during market hours with my positions on
Yeah.
because value at risk is capped.
Hmm.
So let me answer that question, right? So the way I see trading is only a small part of my life, but a very important part of my life.
Hmm.
The reason why I say a small part of my life is because see, there are 4 types of wealth.
You said that.
One
now.
is financial wealth, a lot of things. Trading is something that enables me to spend family time. Trading is something that enables me to go to the gym anytime I want, right? So trading enables a lot of other things, other aspects in life, automated trading. If I'm in a full-time job, I would not be owning my time, right? Because there is an obligation to work for someone who pays you a fixed salary. It's about time-wise freedom, right? So it's about time-wise freedom. It's about spending family time, time with friends. That's the main deal.
Now, you must have thought about quitting your job not just now, but this plan must have been in the pipeline for some time now. Did you hold yourself back till that particular number that you had in your head was to be reached, or was it like okay, now I think now I'm good, like I'll just jump in?
It's a lot of factors. So it's a very personal thing, right? If I have to talk about someone else, it's a very personal thing. I can't recommend, okay, this number do this number do that, right? There's no one rule that fetches all the people. But for me, it was, as I told, it's about my living expenses. My living expenses was covered by whatever I have from the fixed deposit interest that I get, and family support, right? When you get a new person coming in your life, you need to have the acceptance. That person needs to be confident about my trading and see my lifestyle a little bit. All those things come into picture. So number wise, I believe to become a full-time trader, you need at least 1 crore capital. Net
1
worth
CR
wise.
is your number,
Yes,
at least.
yes, it
Okay.
is needed because you don't want to go back to the job after taking a.
You're gonna get hated by a lot of people
Yeah.
in the comments.
That's right.
Huh? Some people said 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. उसके लिए बहुत hate मिला. तू 1 crore बोलेगा तो लोग चबा के खा थूक देंगे तेरे को.
See, it's about surviving, right? If something happens, you need to have spare capital which you can use for trading. You don't want to go back to a life which you did not want to have. No, it defeats the purpose
Correct.
of coming here.
Trading is a luxury, to be honest.
Yes, it is.
So Saketh, you have been predominantly an option seller. Even now you sell options, but your exposure has completely gone down. And what is your bread and butter strategy? Is it still expiries?
Actually, it's not expiries. It's now mostly diversified into expiry and positional. Right. So after the recent experiences, like what I have told, like we slowly started diversifying into doing partly positional, such that my expiry exposure, if you take a look at it, might not cross 2.5 times. My positional exposure, if you look at it, might not cross like 1.5 times of the account, right? So maybe 1.5 times of the account. So the whole idea is, okay, like all this time I'm sitting in front, like for years I have been sitting in front of the system and focusing and trading. Maybe now one like obvious option is to automate like him, right? So, but as a discretionary trader, I want some time off the system. Like, so the only way I can get my time off the system and not be in front of it throughout is to size my positions low so that I get the freedom to not
But the
react.
returns would go down, no? Are you okay with that?
So the thing is, here is where it comes, Praful. So the thing is, if there are a couple of things like what I have realized over time, right? So the kind of stress what I was taking to generate 35-40% return with options, right? So I don't think it is a sustainable way maybe I would be doing after a decade, right? So after a decade, you want little more peace of mind, relaxed life, right? So this is what I started. Maybe once you don't have a good phase, right? So all these self-realization thoughts come to your mind, like, okay. So then you think, okay, do you want to undergo all this for next even after a decade? Maybe no. So how do you make things more sustainable? So is option the only way to go ahead, right? Option the only way to compound your return, right? So why don't you look at other streams? Like forget about other business as a whole, technology. So there also you enjoy a lot involving yourself, getting to learn a lot of things. But apart from that, so is there any other thing which you can actually look at to optimize? And one thing I had conveniently ignored for a decade was equities. So where I was pretty satisfied, okay, put everything in gilt, that this 15 was a higher end, like 10-15% return. Oh wow, that's amazing. So now the idea is, if I can try to optimize there a little, where I can push my 12% towards 20, and here if I can reduce my 40 expectation to 20, so I would be more or less at 40 at a comfortable mind frame. Yeah. So that's the more or less the thing what we are.
You said that like half of your exposure is on expiry and the remaining half
Yeah.
is on positional. What do you do in positional?
So positional, we are mostly doing monthly. So
Monthly
both,
options.
Yeah, monthly options. So both are strangles, because weekly anyways we are doing expiry. So it's
Do you go with hedges or do you go with just like proper exposure?
No, this thing we don't go with hedges, obviously, positional, because we only have 1 to 1.5x of the account. So
Notional pay
yeah,
1.5x.
notional 1.5x. So on top of that, if I buy hedge, first of all, the returns is going to be so low. On top of that, if I buy hedge, so it would obviously like add up to.
How long you been doing monthlies now?
So it's been almost 3 months since we started.
How's the results?
Actually, pretty good. So you actually get to see that so many times. Like while you're doing expiries, you wouldn't have even looked at the monthly position, and you're seeing, okay, you're losing on expiry. Where is your M2M coming from, right? So you totally ignore it, and I think that's the best part. So sometimes you're quite far away, and for a move like 1% or so, you don't really mind ignoring that completely, because
there's no gamma at all.
Yeah, no
Like
gamma, no exposure. Yeah.
The farther you go away from expiry, like the gamma constantly.
Exactly.
reduces.
And one more thing, like what I wanted to tell is post elections, right? So I did a simple strangle, right? So that was 20. So after the election fall, I did a 23,000 call and 21,000 put or something of July. Then the market started rallying, right? So one, obviously, you can give for the VIX coming down, the volatility reducing overall, right? But the thing is, in spite of such a massive up move, right? So since you had such low exposure, you could easily handle the position. Again, I have to give credit to the volatility decreasing. That was the key factor where the options didn't shoot up, which otherwise would have, right? So I could only focus purely on 0DT, and this one, on the other hand, was
mostly you go with short wall structures.
Yes.
What about calendars and what about?
No, I don't do much of.
Then how about like low VIX? When there was election, from after elections the VIX got crushed, the IVs came down, and you got benefited from that. Now let's say next month you're in a very low IV regime. Now the only way for the options is to expand.
Correct.
Would you still go for a strangle or a straddle kind of a structure, or would you go for like a calendar? Or
so the best part here is, Praful, since you're trading with such a low exposure, so if you see previously, if you go back to maybe 1.5 years ago, the kind of notional exposure what we were taking was quite high, like 5-6 times, right? So since I'm going with one, anytime I see an opportunity, I can build on. So the thing is, if you're at a 1x exposure, basically if Bank Nifty goes to 0, still you can't wipe out your account because you're at a strangle. So right. So now the opportunity is whenever it presents itself, so you can definitely build on it. So we don't mind increasing the exposure, but we don't want to start
opportunistically increasing the exposure. Great.
So which we did recently in the Japanese carry trade, where we saw the fall. So that day the VIX got up and we got some good opportunity. So we weren't sure whether to go for selling or not. But next day all the markets started to recover. We were like, okay, maybe again we'll come back to the range, and so we got some good opportunity. We increased the exposure.
Aamodh, what about you? Like, do you still want to continue trading purely systematic way, or like do you want to get into some amount of discretion?
No, for me, it's always been systematic trading. Ever since I got to know that there is something called systematic trading, it's always been systematic trading because, as I told, it gives you time-wise freedom, right? So that's how it is for me.
What do you predominantly do?
So
What are your systems predominantly composed of?
So options, academically, I'm actually a noob. I don't know what options Greeks are. That's the reality. The way I design systems is purely from a data standpoint, looking at the price action. It's about making sure that net selling price is higher than net buying price. You make profit, as simple as that. Options is just another instrument in the town. And the kind of systems that I trade are time-based straddles and strangles and range breakouts. These are the only two types of system which I've traded all the way
Basically,
from...
a combination of a delta neutral system, a VRP harvesting kind of a system, coupled with a momentum riding system.
Yes, almost kind of that. Yes.
So
And
momentum riding, you still short the options, or sometimes you go long options as well?
No, momentum is always long options. I don't trade short options for momentum. It's only long options, and short options is mainly to harvest what's called volatility risk premium. Yeah.
You have 38 systems. Like, how often do you recalibrate or reshuffle, change the weightage for each systems, change the sizing of each systems?
Not often. So it has been like 14 months since I last changed system. See, there are multiple parts in algorithmic trading. The first one is generating ideas. The second one is validating rules which mimic that idea. The third one is validating those rules. And the fourth one is automating the rules. Now, the first two, generation of the idea and formulating the rules, there is a discretionary component present there, right? No matter how much we try to make it quantitative, systematic, there is always a discretionary component based on our view of the market, our observation of the market, right? So when I design a system, I design it in such a way that it needs to last for all seasons. It can't be like morning I wear a lungi, afternoon I change my dress. You can't do that in market. It's called system hopping, and it's not going to give you good results, right? So it's been like 14 months now since I last changed my system rules.
See, yahan pe, the last 14 months you were in a job.
Yes.
Correct? Maybe your basket of strategies might be performing well. Now you are solely relying upon the trading income. Has your sensitivity to the performance of your basket go up or go down? For example, let me put it other way.
Yep.
Pehle, let's say, like, if your system didn't perform for 2 months straight, you wouldn't have lifted a finger.
Yep.
You'd be like, this is part of the system. The returns would be like slightly lumpy, and I'm okay with it even if it doesn't perform for 2 months. Because you had the back of a stable income pouring in from the other end. Now that you don't have it, would you be like too keen on changing your parameters, tweaking the system? Agar ek mahina agar nahi return diya, so will you be like too sensitive to the changes?
Not really, because as I told, my trading return does not decide whether I have breakfast tomorrow or not. Right? So there is no urgency of generation of trading return. That's the most important thing.
But
so,
dekho, like, there is a benchmark that you have set. Your brain knows that, okay, till last month I was making this. Even if my trading account didn't generate X amount of money, I'm getting X amount from that. Now here, yahan pe, if the trading account doesn't generate money, your brain starts to say, oh, this month I've not made any money.
yes.
Does it prompt you? Because I know, like, it's too early to say, because your systems might be doing well, you might have not gone through that situation, but from empirical evidence, like, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, I like what he exactly is telling is something which I can relate to when we didn't have profits for, like, as I told you, the period where 6 months, no money flowing in, but only the cash outflows happening. So you really start to rethink, oh, like what
did you do?
Yeah.
Then I'll go back to him later.
That's what I said. That's where we thought of. Then things started to get fine, but that's when we started to think, okay, trading is one thing, but we have to diversify.
You contemplate your approach.
The approach, and obviously moving into tech and all of that was an idea later on, like, because of all this happening, right? So, this is one part of it. So the way I'm doing, can I go to maybe, see, let's say you want to build a big business. Let's say the way I'm doing, can I scale it to 100 CR? Maybe okay. 200 CR, maybe somewhere possible, but maybe 1000, 2000 CR, maybe not. So if I want to build a scalable business, I have to venture into something else and not. So those ideas started coming in. Like once things don't go right now, so everything hits you. Like everything comes from all sides.
Yeah. See, it's tough. Tough times do come. Drawdown is inevitable, right? What you can do is plan for the drawdown. So one of the things is that I don't size my position. If my account is at 1 CR, I don't size the position assuming I have a capital of 1 CR. Let's say my historical max drawdown has been 10% of my system. I assume I have only 90 lakh capital and size my position for 90 lakh capital. So as and when my account keeps decreasing from 1 CR to 95, 92, 91, to be honest, I'm least bothered because it's all part of the plan. No, it's not like drawdown is not expected, right? Irrespective of whether I'm a salaried job or I don't have that cushion, trading is still the same as on a standalone basis. And the other thing is the most important part of sustaining the trading business lies in psychology, right? Your trading mindset, setting the right expectations. Because if you don't set the right expectations for yourself before becoming a full-time trader, like depending on every month's income, assuming that you'll be profitable every month or maybe, profitable 10 months a year, right? If you set high expectations, you're bound to be disappointed. So you got to plan for the worst case scenario and only then become a full-time trader.
You have truly accepted the worst case scenario?
To be honest, we can never predict what's the worst case scenario. Anything could happen, but whatever I could envision, I have planned for it. Risk is something which is unknown. All you can do is plan for whatever you get to envision.
So Aamodh, you were probably in the 99th percentile of salary drawers in the country, 60 LPA. Even if you consider some of it is ESOPs, like vesting period, वगैरह, in hand पे अच्छा खासा एक amount आता था considering the Indian standards. And you also had a decent amount of experience, probably 6 years experience?
Around 8 years.
8 years experience.
Yeah.
So even let's say trading didn't work out, you always, at the back of the mind, you always know that I can go back to my previous industry. You were in the IT sector, right?
Yes.
So you can go back to the industry, you can freelance because you have developed that skill which nobody can take it away from you.
Yes, skill and the network.
And the network, because you have your, old employees, the bosses, the managers, the network you have built and all that. Is it also some sort of an intangible safety net that is the back of your mind ki, tangible safety net to mere paas ye hai, family support hai, वगैरह, मेरा lifestyle inflation नहीं हो रहा है, वगैरह. But apart from that, I have an intangible safety net also.
Yes, definitely that's the case, right? So they say network is net worth. Over the last 8 years, it's a network that I have developed within the VLSI industry where I work. And that definitely is a safety net, right? Because if you take a fall, there's someone to catch you. And that's the corporate world, which is why the reason I quit corporate world is only because there was a better alternative, a more peaceful life on offer. It's not like I hate corporate world or nothing like that. So that's a safety net where you can always go back to. But then that's always plan B.
What about you, Saketh?
So actually, Praful, plan B is basically I am by heart, I want to do different things, right? So if you start looking for opportunities, there are n number of it. So assuming that tomorrow trading doesn't work, so we are doing social media. So we have a social media team. We can start doing social media for other people. So we have a tech team. You can start building tech products for other people. And the thing is also you have the brand equity. Second one, the thing is if I want to start something new, because we so many people who are associated with us, right? So even though we are in a drawdown, we have seen a drawdown of say 6-7%, not seen returns for 6-7 months. So they are very comfortable parking the money with us, right? So why? Because just for the trust factor. So tomorrow if I want to start something new, they will be there to support. So
basically you have built your own network.
Right. So like how we said. So if you start looking for opportunities, there are n number of them. Right. So like the thing is, I keep motivating all my friends. Okay, you start something on your own. I also want to be in.
That's why I said like you are one of the most entrepreneurial guys that I personally know, and also with the tonality that you use, right? I see that like you're not scared to fail.
Right.
You're not scared
Because
to fail.
I have, like, to be honest, see, you take any journey, if you see my tech journey, I have failed. In trading journey also, I have failed. So I don't consider myself to be the most successful trader at all, right? So the thing is, see, I can't match even half of what you're generating, right? So that is honest. Like, honestly, I can't match. Maybe I can't even match half of what he's generating.
Praful is the gold standard.
Yeah, gold standard, then I might be maybe bronze standard, right? So, but the thing is, I'm happy what I'm doing, right? So even if you take a look at, so the thing is, so many things I got to learn when we were building tech. I had zero idea. Today you tell me if something has gone wrong, I can at least tell, okay, where it might have gone wrong, even though I can't correct the code, at least I will be able to. And like, the thing is, once we came out with the product, I had zero experience with marketing sales. So how do you push your products? How do you talk to customers? How do you do customer support as a whole? Absolutely. But so many new experiences to learn, so many new things to build upon.
That's a skill level diversification that he's targeting, which is very important.
So this is this is personality trait that I noticed. Okay, you seem to be very passionate.
Right.
Okay, you seem to be very calculative. Okay, this is what I noticed during my interaction. So this question is to you, Aamodh. Do you really love trading? Are you passionate about trading, or you're using trading as a money-making machine?
So I'll be honest, right? It's about money. Trading is about money. It's capital market. If you're not passionate about making money, see, passion can be multiple things. I'm passionate about making money, and capital market is the place where you make money from money. So that's a natural path that way.
Because I was having a conversation with Nikhil. He said trading consists of two components. One is execution, another is research. I love doing research. So he likes a particular aspect of. Similarly, for you, it's about data crunching, it's about analysis, you're about building strategy, optimization, vagera vagera. Do you love that, or do you treat it as, okay, this is something I need to do to keep making money? That's why I want to do it.
So it's a bit of both. See, I love doing that data crunching, but too much of it might lead to me system hopping.
So forget about what it is going to give you on a tangible basis. I'm just talking about the process. Like, do you love the process? Like, do you love like crunching numbers? Like,
yes, absolutely. I love every bit of it. No, otherwise I would not voluntarily become a full-time trader. I like the entire process, right from generation of ideas, designing the system rules, validating the rules, and automating. It really excites me. See, I can tell that because weekends are boring. Otherwise, I used to look up to weekends. Now I look forward to Mondays.
I look forward to Mondays. I think trading is the only profession, like, especially if you're a passionate trader, we are the ones like who look forward to Mondays.
Yeah.
So one thing that's common with all the traders that I've got on the show is we've all started at a time where trading was relatively easier. Like we had access to leverage, whether one was overusing it or one was not using it, it's up to, but there was access. It was available. For example, you abused leverage. You're not proud of it. I know that, like, you, from hindsight, you say that, okay, I was purely lucky. You're very vocal about acknowledging that. And some of the guys, they are very judicious. But we all had the opportunities. But now that everything is getting tightened, the rules are getting stringent, the leverage is getting, and our regulator saving retailers के नाम पे तो अलग आतंकी मचा रहा है. So in this scenario, let's say if you were to start now, what would you have done?
So honestly, it's going to be way more difficult to start now compared to, let's say, 2017 or 2020 for that matter, because as you told, leverage is not available. A lot of other challenges exist because of outside HFT firms hunter algos, right? So, but still, it's about being knowledgeable. It's about observing market and developing good discretionary skills, even for a systematic trader. generation of ideas. That's where everything starts, right? So you got to have good discretionary skills, and you got to have good knowledge. And beyond that, you need bare minimum, 5 lakh capital to start learning, getting your hands dirty, right? So for a new trader, I would say don't have expectations of becoming profitable as soon as you enter. That's the most important thing. Don't have high return expectations. Have your expectations low. Start to learn with let's say 3 lakh capital. Just start with one lot, right? That's the most important thing. Get your hands dirty. In parallel, get knowledgeable. That still remains the same irrespective of whether someone started in 2017, 20 or 2027, right?
Let's say, Saketh, if you met your professors now with zero capital, and again they accepted to give some capital, your friends agreed to give the capital, now that you don't have leverage, how would you start now?
Maybe I wouldn't have become a trader. For sure, with such low capital, I don't think I would risk everything to become a trader.
Let's say like they're willing to give like 10x of what they gave you.
Okay. Then my first starter point definitely would be to start with a system, right? So something like a TBS, because if you're having a decently low expectation of say somewhere around 12-15%, it's easily achievable with some decent systems, right? The reason
why? Whoever comes to the market, who would come with a 12% or 15% expectation?
No, not as a whole. Like let's say with equity, you're clocking in 20. You don't have to quit your job. Like let's say I am starting off. If I'm doing a business as a whole, then that's a separate point altogether, right? So if I want to get into markets, maybe the first thing what I wouldn't be doing is trying to quit something and do, right? So if you have say 15% expectation, systems are pretty decent way to start off with, right? Where you can easily generate. And discretionary is something which, see, back then you didn't have systems, so you had to build upon discretionary ways of trading. Now, if you ask me to go back to completely automated, completely system, maybe I can't, right? So somewhere you feel like going and punching those orders with hand, right? But yeah, I think definitely that would be one starter point. Maybe going on once the capital is sizable and you can start optimizing your returns. So yeah, that would be the way to go forward.
What is easier to start off with, discretionary trading or system-based trading?
I think system for sure.
Systematic trading.
Systematic. I have this theory, okay? Trading can be categorized into 3 buckets. The first stage is randomness of trading. You play some bets here and there, something. Yeah. You have like, you go by gut instincts, go by intuition, go by news, whatever. That is randomness of trading.
Gut indicator.
The second basket is the science of trading. You form systems, you have like clearly defined rules, you try to adhere to them. The third, like the highest level of trading is the art of trading, where you develop your discretionary skills, you develop the experience. You would not be able to explain or articulate all the points that you connected throughout your trading career because of all that screen time, but all those points will be like working for you in the background, which will translate into the art of trading. Now, of course, like people who start with trading, they'll be starting with the randomness of trading buckets, and then they have to move into the science of trading.
Yes, it's a slow graduation.
It's a slow graduation. And once you get better at science of trading, where you bring in the discipline, you bring in the consistency, you bring in, basically you treat trading like a scientific endeavor, then you can hop on to the art of trading. But what people try to do is they directly try to switch the buckets, jump the buckets.
Yes. They see the returns of someone who's at the art of trading level, but they have the skills of
randomness of trading.
Both has to match ultimately, and it takes time, which is why you need to understand the risks involved. You need to set your expectations based on that, and then kick it off.
So this is one aspect that I talk to almost all the guests that we have on the show. How impactful has been the trading community for you guys?
It's been very helpful. Let me acknowledge that, right? It's a very important thing, because when you start at zero. Everyone starts at zero. Now, if someone has been there, done that, it's a confidence that you can derive from, right? That you too can do it, right? So when I started, I did not know. I don't come from a trading community or business family background, nothing like that. So it was very difficult to I actually came to know that I started in September 2017, and I came to know that there are full-time traders only after 1 year. I thought stock market is just about investing long-term, things like that. I tried mutual funds, stock investing, everything, and then I realized that this thing. So now all the strategies that I trade today, I trade 38 strategies. The ideas for it has been derived out of one or the other person's social media posts. Right? I started 920 straddle back in June 2020.
Very honest of you to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, it's very important. See, when someone puts a video on YouTube, an educational video, he does it with the purpose of helping others. It's important to acknowledge his effort so that such kind of content comes out in future, right? And also, I don't consider myself a self-made trader or nothing like that. There's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing like that, because you always derive others' knowledge, others' experience, and then inculcate it in yourself.
Customize it.
Yeah, customize it and go accordingly.
So this is one aspect that I took from your explanation is accountability. So basically what you did is like you try to analyze every person's, like every successful trader that you derive influence from, and then adapted their approach to suit your needs.
Yes.
But general tendency is people want everything spoon-fed.
Yeah.
कोई YouTube video देखता है,
Yeah.
4 trade लेता है, and then he'll come and say that this doesn't work, this is a scam. Don't try to take it as it is.
Yes.
That video might have been made 2 years back. Try
Yes.
to take the fundamental concept from it and try
Absolutely.
to adapt it to your requirements.
Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, to add on to that, like social media impact or influence, it depends on the trading community influence depends on what exactly it is. So for example, like how Aamodh said, I feel like trading is a very personal trait, right? So your personality comes out in your trades. Like let's say you're a kind of conservative person by nature. So that is reflective on your trades. Like, so very rarely a person who is conservative can take huge positions. So, right. So the thing is, it's not that I have not tried to mimic people's trades or the way people trade. But one thing of my personal experience is it just doesn't sit well, right? Because you are not the person, right? So you can't trade like the person if you are not the person. Right? So maybe like the whole point is you have to gather the key elements out of it, but one is definitely not to try to mimic the style, right? And the thing is, see, when you take the community as a whole, right? So it definitely morally you there are a group of people there who experience the same ups and downs like you do, right? So they understand the happiness and like the sadness you go through. So that way, like morally, that there is a support system around. But to the trading, like core trading as a whole, has it made an impact for me personally? No. So it's only like as long as I have stuck to my own style of trading, so I have actually performed much better than trying to gather.
So basically, you have blocked all the external things that might come to you.
So I don't
try
mind
to stick to your approach.
Yeah, I don't mind trying. Let's say if somebody tells me something, right? So I would definitely give it a try, right? So I will not tell, okay, I'm not open to your idea at all. So definitely not. If it is sitting well with it's like a extra piece of puzzle, right?
See, first thing is, nobody will come and tell you like, try this.
Yeah.
Because we are in the business where our core job is to snatch money from out of others' pockets.
Right.
So basically, traders will be in the search of an alpha.
Right.
So do you, from time to time, go out and try to hunt alpha?
No, so it would be more like, let's say I'm having a conversation with you and okay, let's say I ask, okay, how do you trade, right? So again, that would be like something like a hunting alpha itself. If I feel some aspect of your trading can sit well with my, let's say I have already built a puzzle which is not complete, can sit well with that piece, right? So then maybe I might try it, okay, let me just add this aspect to the thing, right? So if not the whole style, just the aspect of this particular thing.
What about you, Aamodh? Like how often do you try to, okay, I might take this aspect and immediately, do you do it during the times of drawdown or like are you always on the lookout for some of the other methods, systems?
I'm always on the lookout for other systems. So one of the reasons why I'm on social media is to benefit from others' experience. See, if you are on a lookout for something only when you're in drawdown, you will be under pressure to pick up junk. It's very important to pick up only quality. So you got to be always open-minded. Keep up, be on the search, and whenever you see quality, you start from generation of idea phase, not directly jump into validation of rules phase or design of rules phase. It's a process, right? The whole purpose is to get ideas. So I'm always on the lookout for ideas.
Great. I mean, a lot of people on social media, especially the finfluencers, they always give this aura that, oh, I devised this strategy, this is mine, usko naam de dete hai, and they try to shill something to the audience. But one genuine aspect about full-time traders is they acknowledge that, bro, I take motivation, I take inspiration from others' methods as well, and I'm constantly learning.
Yes.
Some of the best tweaks that I've made to my trading methods have come when I was interacting with some of the new traders, because they come without baggage, clean slate. So they have a fresh perspective. So unse, what they might be thinking, okay, am I asking the wrong question? That question itself kind of sparks that new perspective to look at the markets. So this is one thing that I've observed among all the traders like who are seasoned and who want to do it full time, that they're very vocal about taking inspiration from others' work as well. So Aamodh, now that you are a full-time trader, now it's a second innings for you. Where does this innings end?
If the question is about do I ever stop trading, the answer is no, because I'm passionate about trading, and even if I don't need the money from trading at all, it's something which stimulates me intellectually when I try to figure out things. The joy that you get when you figure out things, that's a very important thing to have in life, right? It's a satisfying experience when you try to you have problem solving is very much needed to keep our brain active. And,
cross question.
Yeah.
Even in your previous job, you were in the field of IT, right? There also, like, you were solving problems on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Were you satisfied there?
The answer is, to an extent, yes. To an extent, no, because sometimes you need to do what you don't like as well. Whereas here you are your own boss. One of the things I think about is like in June 2020, when I started 920 Straddle, people used to say it's too simple to work. All those things. If I was working for someone else, I would never be able to start that. Someone experienced, right? It's the freedom which trading offers, right? So it's about that when I compare it to the job.
Do you feel that the kind of satisfaction that you get from solving your trading account ka problem versus you solving your corporate problem, there's a difference?
Yes, there is a difference, because in the corporate world, I work in the VLSI industry. In a semiconductor chip, there will be billions of transistors, and I work on a very small component of it, right? So even if you contribute, it's not only your contribution because of which the results are out there. Whereas here, it's only because of my contribution, mainly because of my contribution, I see the end result.
Basically, your problem solving results in a tangible outcome.
Yes, tangible outcome. There's more satisfaction.
And it has a direct impact on your life.
Yes. Yes. I can define my growth path myself.
What about you, Saketh?
For me, Praful, like as I was mentioning earlier also, money doesn't really define anything to me, right? So tomorrow you take money out of my pocket.
Are you saying this because you're in front of the camera, or is it really who you are?
No, it's really, the thing is, I really don't mind spending on, either spending money if I feel that, okay, if it is giving me some kind of happiness. So I don't mind. So when somebody is starting a business, they'll be very mindful of, okay, burning cash. If it's your own money, if you raise money from somewhere, you don't mind splurging out, right? So I really don't mind it, right? And I really don't mind. So for me, money is not the aspect. I want to build something big, right? So for example, as I told you in the beginning, so what am I doing currently? can I scale it to maybe 1,000, 2,000 crores? The answer is maybe no, right? So what can I do to scale to 1,000, 2,000 crores? I have to do something in a regulated way. So if I'm doing something in a regulated way, can I take, say, 10, 20x leverage? No, right? So do I need to have something else? Yeah, I need to have a good brand equity, good tech around. So can I, maybe with the regulation changing, can there be a new law which can help me to build something around? Maybe yes. So can I do something with technology to scale it big? So it's about doing some, because end of the day, when I have gotten into this full time, right? So just to be satisfied with a few this thing, like I don't generally.
This is what I've noticed in your explanation is you said that money doesn't matter to you, but most of your parameters to make it big was monetary. You said that like I want to scale it up to 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores, 500 crores, and you started off your sentence with money doesn't matter.
Correct.
To me. Like, why is this contrast?
See, okay, the thing is, like when I say money doesn't matter, so what I'm making today, right? So whether to say, let's say, okay, do I think somebody who is very rich is successful? That's why I said like the first example of Tata and like. So what Tata has built is really at a scale, right? So it maybe, is it the richest or the biggest industrialist? Yes, but in terms of monetary wealth, he might not be the biggest. But in terms of what he has built, definitely he's the biggest.
So basically, you say that like money is a way to keep score.
Money is like in the sense. See, I'm not like going away from the fact that money is not important. But what I'm telling is money does not define success to me.
Got it.
So it's not. I'm not trying to portray something that okay, money is not an important factor at all. But just that having more money or making more money doesn't define success to me.
So guys, it's been a fantastic conversation. Really love the interaction, and I'm sure like a lot of guys like who want to quit their jobs and hop onto full-time trading has a lot of things to learn from Aamodh, and also a lot of things always, man. Like you have been like so open, like you have been so honest with everything that you do, and I wish you a good luck for your second innings. And
Thanks a lot.
Saketh, as usual, good luck for all your business ventures and your trading. So we have a small token of appreciation from Groww.
Oh.
I would like you guys to have
Thank
it.
you so much.
Aamodh,
Thanks a lot.